some wild news to share with you guys regarding Amy Slaton from 1,000 Pound Sisters. On this past Monday, Labor Day, around 3:15, her and her boyfriend and her 2 kids decided to go to this town called Alamo, Tennessee. And the reason they decided to go there is because this town has this place called the Tennessee Safari Park. And what this place is they have 2 different sections. They have one part where you can drive through and see all these animals. You can see all the animals listed here. This is from their website. And you can have all these animals walk up to you. You can pet them from your cars. You can feed them. And then at the end, if you want to, you can walk through a section of this zoo that they have. Tennessee Safari Park has over 7.5 miles worth of safari that you can drive through. It sounds like a good old time for the family. But Amy's little trip for Labor Day quickly took a turn for the worse when around 3:15 that afternoon, the Crockett County Sheriff's Department suddenly got a phone call saying that somebody had just been bitten by a camel at the little safari park. So the deputies ended up showing up and they brought an ambulance along with them. And when they show up, they said they saw a woman that was acting extremely irrational and you could hear her yelling and screaming. And they said that she was acting a little irate and a little different or whatever, and she was arrested. The lady was taken to the hospital along with her 2 children. They said it was an alleged bite. I looked at a picture of her arm and I don't believe it was an animal bite. And that's the thing. At first, TMZ was reporting that it was somebody else that got bit by the camel, not Amy. But there were pictures that came out where you can see Amy being loaded onto an ambulance where she has like what looks like a rag or tourniquet around her arm, and it looks like that was from a camel wound. And this next article that I'm reading from right now confirms that yes, she was the one that got bit by the camel, but the owner is not buying that Amy got bit. I think he thinks that she's just trying to come up with some kind of injury she had at the park to, try to get a little lawsuit going and get her some coin. And the officers, when they were approaching Amy, she was sitting in a car with her boyfriend and her children, and the officer noticed that there was an overwhelming odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. So that instantly gave them an excuse to search the vehicle. They started looking and they found around 2 ounces of marijuana and an eighth, about 3.5 grams, of what they believe to be magic mushrooms, which is a Schedule 1 drug in the state. And so Amy, her and her boyfriend were both arrested. They were charged with illegal possession of a Schedule 1 drug. Then they were hit with illegal possession of a lower scheduled drug and 2 counts of child endangerment. So Amy's boyfriend, Brian Scott Lavorne, this is the first time I'm hearing about her new boyfriend, but it's clearly her new man, because when she was bonded out of jail, she came out of the jail holding hands with him. And her boyfriend were both held in the Crockett County Jail on a $10,000 bond. Here's the thing, in most cases, as long as you're not a flight risk, they'll typically allow you to just pay a percentage of that bond, like only like 10-15%. But since Amy did not live in Tennessee, they would not allow her to pay only part of her bond. They said the only way she was going to be able to bond out with a bondsman is if she paid the full $10K up front. And somehow, some way, Amy was able to find some money to pay that, and she ended up hiring Hughes Bonding Company on Tuesday afternoon, and she was bonded out with her boyfriend. And I wonder if she paid for her boyfriend to get out too. And there's actually a podcaster by the name of Sarah Fraser. She was originally willing to pay the $10,000 to get Amy out of jail because she was hoping she would get Amy out and just be like, hey, I'll bond you out, just do a handful of interviews with me to try to make up for this lost money. And she thought, okay, we'll just do interviews and just be on her butt the whole time about how much she messed up doing these kind of things around her children. And I just don't think that would have worked if that would have happened that way. I don't see Amy being willing to do that, especially with a topic like this regarding child endangerment. I feel like she's going to avoid talking about this as much as possible until she has to. And plus, we haven't really seen Amy do any interviews in the past. She's not the interview type of girly. I wonder whose drugs they were, but since they were in Amy's boyfriend's vehicle and he was there, he was automatically arrested and hit with the same exact charges. And they ended up bonding out, and when they did bond out, the local news station was there to ask Amy some questions, and she really didn't touch on much, but she did say that her children were okay, and a source informed the news station that Tammy ended up finding a way to come up there and pick up the boys after Amy went to jail. And I really wonder what this means for the future of her and her boys. Like, is she gonna be able to go right back to Tammy's and pick them up and just move on? I feel like they're either gonna make, I don't know, maybe have like an emergency custody situation where Tammy might have to take them for a little while until she comes up with a few clean drug tests. Or maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. I've never been in a situation like this before, but I definitely feel like they're going to want to make sure she's clean and sober before she's taking care of the kids again. That's just my speculation. And I just don't understand why they were doing that with the kids in the car. The craziest part is Amy and Michael have 50-50 custody. Like, I know you wanted to have a good little family outing for Labor Day with the kids, but if you're gonna be smoking weed and doing mushrooms, which you shouldn't even be doing mushrooms because it's illegal, but I mean they're trying to make them legal right now, but I mean that's a whole different subject. But I mean, if you have 50-50 custody with your child's father, why not wait till the kids are with him and you're just with your man to do something like that? But either way, I mean, you shouldn't be doing that around the kids, especially going to the little safari park with your kids high as hell and then just being so stupid about it. Like, okay, you're gonna bring all this with you, which is another thing. Okay, you have to have weed on you and you're gonna bring 2 ounces. There's no way you're smoking that much while you're going to the little safari park or in your little trip to Tennessee. So there's just no reason to bring that much to begin with. And top of that, the shrooms. And then also, Amy called the police saying that she was bit by the camel. So if you know the police are coming, I mean, do you not have any street smarts? I mean, at least try to get rid of them, try to hide them. You know what she could have done? She could have just gave them to her boyfriend and said, hey, you go leave, go do something else. But no, they blatantly just sat in the car with everything in the car and then just let the police roll up, knowing that they had been hotboxing the vehicle. They weren't trying to hide it whatsoever. And I don't know how Amy was so calm when she was on the stretcher and getting out of jail, because I would be a nervous wreck and absolutely distraught if it came to anything interfering with my children and my ability to possibly have custody of my children. You know, we've seen Amy cry on this last season, and a lot of it, I mean, was completely understandable, but I was really shocked that she kept it as calm as she did and the few pictures that have came out of her. Here's some of the different animals they have in the drive-through zoo. They have deer, camels, wallaby, black bucks, wildebeest. They have zebras, camels, emus, all kinds of different things. Ostriches. I wonder if a camel could like smell the magic mushrooms and he was trying to have some of what they were having. But I'm sure their high got killed real quick once the police had them in handcuffs. That is a major buzzkill right there. And I guess maybe if Amy didn't have much street smarts before this, maybe she'll have some more in the future and learn to be more careful. I just feel like she would have been more careful, especially knowing like her sister Tammy has been arrested for similar things, for getting pulled over in cars after they smelled like weed and getting busted with marijuana in states that's not legal in. I spent a good 30 minutes earlier going through all the reviews for this business, the Google reviews, the Facebook reviews, the Yellow Page reviews, and I wanted to go through every single one, good and bad, and see if anyone else had similar experiences with the camels being aggressive or biting them. And there were a few people who mentioned some of the animals in the drive-through part were aggressive, but they just felt like it's because they were hungry. And not everybody, I mean, you're not required to bring food in for the animals. It's your decision to do that, to buy cups of food. And sometimes people may not have food or they'll run out, and then they feel like the animals may start to get aggressive sometimes. And they even explained it here on their website. They said, I've heard the ostrich and emus are aggressive. Is that true? This is a little Q&A they did. And they said, no, the ostriches and why can't I say that? Emus are not aggressive. The birds are simply looking for feed from the visitors in the white cups. They know the cars driving through the park have feed, so they readily come to the vehicles looking for these treats. Some visitors are scared and pull the cup inside with the windows. Naturally, the birds will stick their heads inside to eat the feed that they just pulled inside. Yes, they're very messy. If you wish to feed the birds, feed from your cup only and hold outside of your vehicle. If you do not like the birds or are scared of them, simply roll up your window. Problem solved. These birds do not fight with their beaks, they fight with their feet. These are the birds, not the camels, but I'm sure they have similar experiences, and people may have dealt with the camels being hungry too. So I definitely wonder what exactly happened leading up to the camel allegedly biting her. Alright, we finally found a man with a similar experience. Shout out to Starcasm for finding this man. And I found his YouTube video where he goes to this exact same park, the Tennessee Safari Park. He drives through and he gets bit by a camel. Here you can see the camel biting into his arm, and it looks to be around the same area that Amy was allegedly bitten. He didn't do anything much about it beyond film it, since the camel really didn't draw any blood or like take a chunk out. But you could clearly see his teeth marks in his arm. And he showed exactly what happened. Check him out on YouTube, the Carpet Bagger. And what happened was he bought, it looks like a bowl of feed that you can get for $3. And he just got one bowl and he thought, okay, I'll just give a little bit to each animal. Well, as soon as he drives in this 7.5 mile long drive-through safari, one of the first animals he was approached by was a camel. So the camel's sticking its head in the car, and he decided to stick his bucket of food out, and the camel starts eating it. But then he realized how much the camel was eating. The camel had already ate like a third of the bowl, and he's like, I need to save some for the rest of the animals. So he tried to bring it back into his car, and this camel put his head in the car, was fighting him for the bowl and was trying to knock the bowl over and take it from him. And he did end up spilling like half the bowl all over this man's car and had food coming all out of his mouth. But that's something they warn people about in the on the little website too. And then when this man tried to pull the bull back in, the camel just went for his arm until he finally gave the bull up. So he gets bit by the camel from the jump, and then he didn't have no food left for the rest of the drive-through safari park. He felt so bad because all these animals were coming up trying to get some food, and he was just empty-handed. And another thing is, like, usually I know, like, for example, if you get injured on the job, you typically have to take a drug test to make sure that you weren't high to cause this injury. And I wonder, like, say she tried to, like, sue the safari place for her camel bite or her medical bills, I wonder if they could be like, hey, we can't do that because you were high and had drugs on you, so we believe that's what caused this, from your reckless behavior, from your bad decisions. You know, I don't know much about law, but I wouldn't be shocked if something like that happened if she did try to go that route. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this crazy story in the comments below. I did not have this on my 2024 1,000-pound sisters bingo card. This is the second time that Amy's ever been arrested. She was only arrested one other time back in 2010 when she got arrested stealing a book from Walmart. Meanwhile, Tammy's doing amazing. She's lost a crazy amount of weight. I can't remember the exact amount. I want to say it's close to like 500 pounds total now. She looks like a whole new person. And while Tammy's moving forward, it just seems like Amy's going backwards. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.